What's up, guys? Welcome back to Blondes Building Equity. So we're in a different space today because our guests are super sweet to us, and we're all at a conference together in Vegas. And we're like, we got to get these guys on the show. And so they were kind enough to let us use their podcast studio. So you could see their logo in the back, so you'll really get a good familiarity of who they are. So you get to see the whole time, which is cool for them. But we have the Boeckle Brothers. They are super awesome. It's Landon and Jesse. So thank you guys so much for coming on. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us on your podcast. We're happy to have you at our studio.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about where you guys got started. How'd you even get together? I know you guys are brothers, but secret, you guys are actually cousins.
I know. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. So, okay, it's a pretty quick elevator pitch. So Landon and I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. There is no one in our family that has a 9-to-5 job. We all work for ourselves, create our own companies. So that's always in the back of our minds growing up. Now, our dads are actually identical twins, and they are in business together for their entire lives, including a lot of real estate businesses. So being that we were surrounded by real estate, it was always a conversation at the dinner table. Real estate was never foreign to us, and it was something we both felt like when we grow up, I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. It felt like I was drawn to it. And so after college, we both had some odds and ends jobs trying to figure things out. We both made our way back to Las Vegas and decided to team up and take over the house flipping sector of our parents' company. And they were doing pretty well, flipping a few houses. We saw the potential and came in and poured gasoline on the fire and grew what we have today from that.
Wow. And where did you guys see the potential? Like, what was your dad doing versus what did you come in and change it to do?
Can I take that one?
Yeah, they just, this was after the downturn, right? So they went through the downturn. They had a lot of hard times with real estate and their investments. So they were just playing the game. They were playing at a high level, but they were playing it cautiously. And of course, two young guys coming in, wanting to take business to the next level, wanted to start our own career path in it and really elevate what they've taught us and what they've done. We just saw the opportunity to just grind, put in a lot of time, put in a lot of effort. We had nothing but time to put into it, and we had the motivation to grow it. And that's what we've done.
So let's go back to your first deal that you guys ever did. What was the price point and what made you guys actually pull the trigger?
Sure. So the first deals are very fun to revisit because they
God.
don't look anything like the deals we're doing today.
Right.
Yeah.
Night and day, and I would have never thought we would be where we're at today. But our first deal came from one of our contractors who was actually kind of referred to us to help us get started. He was an agent as well. I think maybe he's even a broker. He has bought a lot of his own projects and renovated a lot of other people's investments. So he helped us find one, helped us vet one out. It was actually in a super safe area on the west side of Vegas I guess it's still considered Summerlin, which is a nice area. It wasn't quite guard gated, anything like that, but it was a $400,000 property. I think we bought it for like $350-ish.
Was it on the MLS?
It was on
the MLS.
Of course. So we started day one just like that, and we still do it today. I think we probably put like $30,000 into it. It was very light.
30. What can you do with $30,000 to a house?
You used to be able to do a lot more.
It went a lot further with the contractors back then. But this was also a property that Jesse and I just starting out wanting to put in our effort into it.
Yeah.
We were in there hanging fans, changing light fixtures, changing the switches and the plugs.
Yeah, it lasted about 10 minutes.
That was the first and last time we ever tried to work on the house ourselves.
But you learned a lot from that,
Yeah,
right?
we
learned a lot
I really
from it.
think it like going through the trenches in the beginning just to know what's going on so that you can lead at a higher level and really manage on that level. It is important. Even if it's just one deal.
I agree.
It's important to note that you guys are the Boeckle Brothers. You're doing multi-million-dollar deals, and you started doing smaller deals and actually putting your own time into it. And that's a good lesson for everyone out there learning. Like, people look at people like you guys and like, it's so unobtainable, but I don't think that's true, especially with how you guys started. So what would your advice be to someone who's like, I don't know how to get started. I don't have money from family members. I don't even know any hard money lenders. What's like your first piece of advice to be like, okay, just jumpstart your engine? What would your advice be?
That's how Jesse and I started, right? We had no money, very little experience. I was a licensed real estate agent for a couple of years before that. So all I had was MLS experience. We didn't have money to market with. We didn't have, a bunch of hard money funds like we do today. We barely knew how to manage construction and a contract. contractor. So we were starting just like most other investors start, with very little experience and no money. We did it all ourselves. And I think that's something that goes a long way, is learning it deeply yourself first, so that we were just talking about scaling.
Yeah.
Later on, you could educate the next person you need on your team deeply into your business. And I think that's something that's very important, is the education side, educating yourself, taking that leap of faith, not knowing what you're doing is okay up front.
Right.
No one knows what they're doing when they
So
get started.
pulling the trigger and being okay with not knowing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
How else
makes
do you
the
learn?
best.
I think
Right.
I would steer somebody into finding a deal, learning, first of all, what a good deal is,
Right.
what that means, and then focus on going and finding that. Because I think a lot of people get it backwards. They think, well, if I find a deal, I'm going to have money to buy it. I'm going to have a contractor who
yeah.
really works. So let me go get those first, so that when I do get a deal, I have those. But in reality, that's backwards. If you go learn how to find a good
We were
deal,
just saying this
Yeah.
yesterday. The
Yeah.
money will find you.
Money
Right.
follows where the good deals
Right.
are.
Absolutely.
Even partnerships, maybe somebody like us, you could find us, bring us a good deal. We'll
Right.
provide the capital, we'll provide the contractor, and you can get started without having any of that figured out. So if I had to suggest, it would be finding a good deal.
Right.
I
Learning
also
how to-
think it like putting you in that time frame, like pulling the trigger on your first deal is so scary, and
Oh, yeah.
so many people get stuck in that, like, I'm gonna do it. They're so excited and they never do it. And so even if it's finding the first deal, that pressure now to go, oh, I have 14 days to close, or I have 30 days to close, depending if it's MLS or off market, like that is exactly what you need
You gotta
as
make
a
it
person.
happen.
Right.
You now have, oh my gosh, this is make or break. I'm gonna learn lose my EMD
Yeah.
if something goes wrong. So like we did the exact same thing. We just found a deal, made an offer. We had none of the money, and we were like, okay, tomorrow we'll
Sink or
figure it
swim.
out.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
once the offer got accepted, boom, boots on the ground, 25 phone calls a day, finding private money, and just like then it worked out and it made it happen. And we built a CRM of private money of contractors
Nice.
all in 15 days.
Wow.
Wow. Versus like if you would have just like tried to build that and there was no rush. Like when
There's
it's
a
life
fire
or
under
death.
it.
Yeah.
If there's no, pressure makes diamonds, right?
Right.
And if there's no
Oh, I love
pressure
that.
on you,
Yeah.
if there's no pressure, you don't perform, and that's just the way it goes. If there's no urgency or a why factor, you can put it off, you procrastinate, and everyone does it
Yeah.
for something that's not that important to them. So.
Right. And then it's like, I feel like in real estate, just aspire after your first deal, boom, you're off to the races. Now
Right.
it's like deal after deal. So now I want to know, you guys started at 400,000. And then yesterday we were at your property that
Right.
is almost 8,000 square feet, insane, gorgeous with it's stunning. And
Yeah.
it's a really, really luxury flip. And so now you guys are known as luxury flippers. So
Right.
kind of what was the transition over the years? How'd you get there?
So it's pretty simple, actually. So what we did is we made one mistake when we started talking about our first deals. We did those for too long.
Right.
And so what we thought, and it's just a very linear way of thinking when you're not networking, you're not learning from other mentors,
Yeah.
is we're successful in what we're doing. We're buying $300,000, $400,000 houses. Let's just buy as many of those as we can. So we weren't becoming more efficient. We weren't having a greater return on our energy. We just figured, let's just do the same thing. Let's just do more of it. And we did that for probably a year too long. So we did that for maybe close to 2 years just by ourselves.
How many did you do in that 2 years?
Probably close
200?
to, not in 2 years. No, probably close to like 50, 60 over those 2 years. We did 40 the second year, a couple that first
We
year.
did 75 the next year.
So
Oh, nice.
There's
Yeah.
a lot.
we did a lot, but we didn't get better at what we were doing. We just did more of the same thing.
Right.
So it was when we first hired our first mentor, we first joined Future Flipper, we first realized, take a look at your business, what's working the best, what's not,
Yeah.
and get rid of what's not. So we took a look and we said, some of the houses that we purchased at a higher price point, we made more money on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any harder. It was the same process, same contractor, same lender. So why aren't we doing more of that? And so that kind of sparked us to say, let's go try that. Let's kind of dip our toe in. Let's buy some more expensive homes, just a few. Those went really well. And we sat back and said, that's the way we have to go. And we turned our inventory into luxury inventory because of that.
It also got extremely competitive at that time. This is
Yeah.
2019, 2020 got super competitive. I mean, money was easy to make on these houses, right?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
selling fast. They were all, you could get them everywhere, and, you throw a dart at the board and hit a bullseye with money because
Yeah, yeah.
the market was so hot. So it got very competitive at that lower price point. we noticed there's not many flippers or investors, especially less experienced flippers and investors, willing to buy $750,000 plus properties and resell them for 1.2, 1.3 million or more. So we found ourselves in a market where these sellers weren't getting as many offers on their properties from the cash buyers as the base price points. So our negotiations were deeper as well. So we're able to buy these with less competition at much deeper margins. So
were you buying with hard money, not all cash, right?
We have a mixture. So we have a private lender who's up to $10 million all cash. That's a 50-50 equity split with them. So we give quite a bit away.
But there's no cap. There's no purchase limit.
Right.
You don't have
Is there any
costs.
contingencies? Is it like a quick close, no contingencies?
Very quick, 10-day close.
Super smooth.
Does it require an appraisal?
No,
Nope.
nothing.
God damn.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So
that's worth 50-50 in my eyes.
Yeah.
To be able to
That
like,
lender lets us buy anything we want. If
Right.
we say we're buying this, they say, where do I send the money?
Yeah.
There's no question.
There's no
Because our
questions.
carrying costs right now, we do luxury as well.
Yeah.
So it's super cool to connect with you guys because there's not many luxury flippers.
course
You know,
not, no.
in LA, kind of the market though, everything is luxury, at least in our area, unless you're in like East LA.
Yeah.
So we buy everything up above $1 million, but our carrying costs are because we use
Right.
hard
They
money.
get very high, very fast.
Yeah, we're like sitting every month on $50,000 a month carrying costs, and we're like, okay, yeah,
I
well.
know the feeling. I know the feeling.
And it never goes down, and we're like, got it.
Yeah, so we have those private money lenders, which is great. Those it's kind of been free money to us over the years,
Yeah.
right? No risk at all on our end, 50-50, but hey,
And
it's
they're
worth our
happy.
time and
You're
effort.
making them a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone's
you
happy.
probably had to prove yourself a little bit to get
Absolutely.
that. So I think
course.
for anyone that is listening, there is a place to start, and that's with hard money lenders and gap funders, which are private investors. So you can start on the lower end, and once you build your deals up and your experience, then you can get into like the $10 million lines of credit, whatever you guys have.
You have a track record.
Yeah, you have a
Yeah.
track record.
And like we said just a few minutes ago, if you could find deals and prove that you're a experienced business,
Right.
Yeah.
people will throw money at you all day
Right,
long. Money
100%.
is the easiest thing to find in a business where you can source good investments for
Right.
people.
We've actually learned the money is kind of the easier part. I was going to ask, if you're doing that many flips in the beginning, you said one contractor. Did you just have one contractor do everything? Or how did you source the talent within the contractor field? Because that's been our biggest thing that we still haven't gotten that right. So
Everyone struggles with that.
Yeah.
It's not something that you'll ever feel like, oh, I got this down.
Right.
It's going to be something that you always feel like you have to work on.
Yeah.
And that's just something you have to come to terms with. But we did have more than one GC. So we use GCs, first of all. I'm
Okay.
So
sure
you
guys
don't
do
ever,
too.
we have a project manager.
One
on
of our projects, we don't right now. We kind of took the reins and tried to just hire out the subs and hire a PM and kind of regret that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Very
The one where
time
we-
consuming.
yeah,
It's
I'm like,
not worth.
I can't scale now because I'm
Yeah.
getting
Stuck.
calls. Like
Right.
last night,
Yeah.
we got the police called at our
Yeah,
Huntington
yeah,
Beach
yeah.
project because our electrician was there. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they
we
thought
have
someone broke in.
one of our projects, we have, two of them, we have a contractor. One of them, we're like, you know what? Why don't we just get a project manager? But we're starting to realize the value of a contractor because our contractor never calls us. Like maybe once a week, he's like, okay, we got this done. And we don't have to hear like, is this okay if we spend an extra $20
handle
or
it.
this or that? They know what the fuck
Yeah.
they're doing. And then you have a project manager who he doesn't have the full reins and he knows it. And so he's constantly calling you and like doesn't really
Right.
know what direction to head. He's
Yeah.
not really a leader. So
And we micromanage a little.
yeah, and we micromanage. But back to what you were saying about
Which
the
is hard to not
contractors.
do.
Yeah.
We have more than one.
Right, you have more than one.
Once we started doing or holding more than 10 properties in our
Right.
inventory, projects at any stage, we needed more than one.
Okay.
And
He
we
could
did-
handle 10 at a time
Well, we got up to where we could handle 27 at a time.
with one
Not
contractor?
with one.
No.
we
We
had
got it. Okay.
3 or 4
contractors.
Okay,
contractors.
got
yeah.
it.
And that also kind of led us to learning lessons that you can only learn when you're really like practicing what you're doing.
Right.
That we let our contractors over leverage themselves and just they would always say yes to another project because they want
yeah.
the money, right? But we know better now
Yeah.
to cap them at 2, 3, 4 projects
Right.
because our quality is going to go down,
Yeah.
our timing's going to go way up, and so we know even though they say yes, we can't allow them to take on
Right.
more than we know they're comfortable with.
Especially
Yeah.
with your luxury, like
Yeah.
what I've kind of seen, and I'm like been shocked by it. But construction's kind of like an art, and I've kind of seen with the luxury stuff. I've seen some contractors work and some not, and I'm like, you can really like be doing the exact same thing, and it can look completely different, at
yeah.
least in my eyes.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you need a talented artist contractor for the luxuries. That's
Of
not
course.
just like install this prefab cabinet. It's like so finding those good
Yeah.
quality.
So
ones.
how did you source those? Is there like a recruitment process or is there things that you're like, these are non-negotiables
there's-
that they have to have?
There's a couple good ways to source contractors. contractors, and we found them all different ways. One is there's dumpsters all around town from homes being flipped, and you could tell when a home's being flipped.
Right.
We've walked into properties and asked who's the general contractor on the job and got their contact information from some of their foremen on the job. Easiest way to go get a contractor.
So you go to like comparable properties like that you're
like
doing?
If we have one in a neighborhood, it's a nice neighborhood, drive around that neighborhood. I'm sure you'll see 4 or 5 dumpsters. You've seen them. You're thinking that you've seen them.
Yeah. This is smart.
Go into the job. Not only do you see the quality of the crew, the cleanliness of the job, the cleanliness and quality control of the work, you get to see.
You literally,
they're interviewing without
You're
even
going to get what you see. That's it.
Oh, I love that. That's a good idea.
It's very important to find a contractor that's familiar with flipping houses because the margins aren't the same as retail work.
Right.
You know, margins aren't the same as commercial work. So it's very important that the contractor you're sourcing is familiar with the house flipping business.
Right.
Or
they're going to overcharge you.
They're going to overcharge you. You guys aren't going to be happy with each other.
Yeah.
Timelines are going to be off. Bids are going to be way off. So that's first and foremost is you want to find that person, which finding dumpsters, seeing homes being flipped, perfect way to find that exact type of contractor. Another way we found contractors is going through the state contractors board licensing search and just going down the list and calling that list.
Wow.
You could see their license. You could see if they have any demerits against their license.
Oh, wow.
What they're insured up to. So how big of a job can they take? We found one of our best contractors that way who's done 100 plus properties now.
Contractors. I've never
Because you
thought
pick
about
the
that.
license that you need. We want a GC license, all purpose. We call down the list and come up with a couple questions, have a phone interview, and then if it goes well, ask them to come in the office and talk further.
So the more deals you do with the contractor, do you kind of figure out a split that works for both of you guys for the contractor? Because I know for most contractors, they take like 20% or whatever
It ends up laying around there anywhere from 15 to 20 sometimes more, depending on what market you're in. We don't really necessarily monitor that split with them. What's more important for us to monitor is the price per square foot of those bids. So that all of our offers that we're making actually make sense. If we're offering with a rehab estimate of $40 a foot for a certain house, but every bid is going to be at $50 or $60 a foot, then none of our offers are going to work. Because none of those bids are going to come in right. So it's constant maneuvering and adjusting our offer numbers to reflect their rehab prices per foot so that we're making accurate offers. And then when we go bid the property during our due diligence, we're not surprised or upset. It should be very close to what we estimated.
So there's a bit of a meeting of the minds and a negotiation there, but like Jesse said, prices have gone way up over the last 2 years. It's crazy where they're at. We used to do jobs at $17 a foot. Now we're doing jobs at like $45 a foot. So
average jobs, not even like a crazy house.
We got to make sure that it fits the buy box at all times.
When did you guys start again? Like 4 years ago?
2016.
Okay. So 6 years ago.
6 years.
So where do you see the market kind of heading now? Obviously, you can't time the market. You're not a future teller. But from your opinion and from doing this for 6 years now, where do you see the market turning? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Do you think we're going to have a crash? Because there's a lot of people scared. How do you...
This is what everyone's watching for.
Literally every question.
They want this answer.
They want this,
I mean, rates this week just went up past 7%. So that's going to tell you kind of what it's going to do, right? It's going to put downward pressure on pricing because there's going to be a lot less demand in the market. You got to look at it just simple economics, right? As demand goes down, supply is going to go up. There's going to be downward pressure on prices. But I don't think that steers us away from investing. We've talked to many very, very experienced investors that went through the downturn and the crash in 2008 to 2012, and they made a lot of money investing in flipping houses and buying rentals and long-term assets. So I think opportunities are going to be there maybe more than the last 2 years.
Right. Because it was so hard to source a deal.
It was so hard to source deals, and you're buying them at top dollar.
Yeah, you make an offer, there's 6 other guys outbidding you, and then it's just crazy.
So what if someone comes to you and says like, oh my God, I can't start because we're about to crash. This is the worst timing, but I always want to
wait
get into
because I'm going to buy. What would you say?
I think waiting always hurts you. It just prolongs your success. It prolongs your lessons. It prolongs everything that you're eventually going to do. It's just going to take you a lot longer. Go out there right now. If you're worried about buying a deal and then having it being not a good deal in 3 months, tighten up the criteria. Buy it even lower. It might make it harder to do. But if you do that, you should still feel safe then.
Change your holding times too. You know, our holding time used to be 5 months on a deal from purchase to resale. Now we're doing 7 to 9 months, depending on the size of the property. So we're adding 2-3 months of holding
to make
time.
it make sense.
And then when we're sitting there and it's not selling within 30 days, we're not panicking over it. We understand it could take 2 or 3 months to sell, but we have that already built in. It doesn't change our profits. It doesn't change anything about the deal.
Right.
I love that.
So I think we're going to see what's called like a bullwhip effect in the economy. If you listen to Jerome Powell's last speech when he just announced the rate hike, he mentioned something really little, like kind of subliminal in there, that he's counting on a correction to give the next generation a chance to buy a house.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the income just does not match the average home price. It's getting farther and farther disparate.
And if you look, like, I mean, a normal market is 30 days on the market. That's a normal. And we were at the point where it was 1 to 5 days on the market.
Like 3
and
hours.
The Fed knows what they're doing. The Fed isn't like, raise interest rates so that we go into recession. That's not their goal.
They don't
raise,
want that.
Yeah, they raise the interest rate so we level out and we get back to a 30 days on market, because it wasn't realistic. Every person was so upset when they wanted to buy a home, because every house they make an offer, get out bid, make an offer. You couldn't buy a house anymore. And it was so unrealistic pricing. And so the Fed has to step in and make this correction. What else it will lead to? I mean, obviously there's so many other effects on the economy. And with COVID and the stock market, there's so much more that could cause a recession. But I think as far as the real estate market, they're just trying to get it to level out. Where
and he's going to keep going
Yeah.
until he sees inflation react to their policy.
Right.
But as soon as he sees that, there's light at the end of the tunnel, I think they're going to immediately back off. And then everyone's going to just rush back into the market. It's going to bullwhip where prices will come back up. Buyers will come back to the table. Everything will happen on a faster and bigger scale. So I don't know exactly when that's going to happen.
Right.
We're going to go through a correctionary time period for 6, 12, or 18 months. And towards the end of that, I think we're going to see like an insane market.
So with the markets changing and interest rates rising, are you guys slowing down at all, or are you just crunching up on your criteria for buying deals, or is it kind of the same? Are you buying more deals?
So we're going to tighten up a little bit.
Okay.
You know, we're going to be a little bit more cautious. We bought 25 houses at a time in April and May and had to get through those. So that was very aggressive.
We're still doing that.
We're still doing that. We're still buying, still getting through it.
Still getting through them, yeah.
But we're definitely going to continue buying. This is our business. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there
Yeah.
to buy and to make a lot of money, but it is a complete change of our buy box.
Right.
When we're looking at the market to evaluate a deal, we're looking at really our competition. We're not even looking at recent solds anymore.
Right.
Which is a typical way to comp a property, right? Is, 6 months sold and find the most like-kind properties. We're looking at our competition now and what's active.
What's active,
And how quickly are they reducing?
I know,
Where are
we've been
they
looking
at?
at that a
Where are
ton.
they
Yeah.
going into contract?
Because
Are
when
they
we
sitting
were
on the market? Are they going into,
Right, yeah.
When we were running our comps for one of our deals, this was like 6 months ago, it was like insane. The time on the market was like 1 day, 2 days, like 200,000 over asking. And now we've been going to open houses that, are comparable to the property that we're about to sell. And they're like, yeah, we've been on the market for 35 days now, no offers. And we're like,
I know.
what? This was
Yeah.
not part of our
Difference.
comparable.
And
Yeah.
It's a little scary.
The comps truly haven't even caught up to the market yet.
Right.
Because 6 months ago, that's not a comp anymore.
No,
That's
yeah.
not even near the same market. So
Yeah.
you can't use that. So we have to use the actives and the
But I think it's hard because when you're
contingents.
buying, that's what you're looking at.
Right.
6 months
I
ago
know.
when we bought, that's what we were looking at. And now our comps, like we have to change things within our budget and what we're spending because the comps now are a little bit different than 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a little scary.
You just made me think of something. I'd love to give you guys this piece of advice because
Yeah.
you do more like what we do than most of the people that we're probably going to meet this week
Right.
at the Mastermind. And we've learned this from higher mentors, like people that have been around. When things tighten up like this and you have more competitive inventory and it takes longer for things to sell and pricing is putting pressure, so buyer demand kind of dried up, what can you do with luxury properties specifically? And that's actually try not to, of course, within your budget, within your power, try not to dial your rehabs back. Try to spend more.
Okay.
It's very weird. You want to save money, right?
Within
You
a
wanna-
budget.
You want to
Yeah.
cut your budget. You want to save money. Deals are getting harder to make. But the better you can make that house, the harder you make it for someone to say no is going to give you a better chance of selling for more and quicker. So our approach to this type of a changing market is to not only do we already over upgrade properties, but we do it even more now, so that when somebody walks in, they have never seen a house in this neighborhood like that. They've never seen the upgrades like this.
Give me some examples of like what upgrades you would do to a house to make it like unforgettable.
Sure.
Yeah, and they don't have to be super expensive.
Not all of
upgrades.
them.
When we're
No.
talking about over upgrading, there's 4 or 5 walls throughout the home that will do nice wood trim accent walls and painting them a different color. So it's very inexpensive. We're talking about, maybe $1,500 a wall throughout the whole house, so that every room has a custom trim wall painted in accent color.
Yeah.
Very easy. But when a buyer's walking through it, there's very few other homes like that have that upgrade in the area.
Right.
So less than $5,000, but makes that home look completely different than everything
But it makes
else.
you stand apart.
Right. It doesn't have to be expensive things.
Right.
It's just more things.
Right.
So more chances for them to walk through the house, turn the corner, and say, oh, I love that.
Right.
Oh, look at that. More of those experiences basically sell the deal more to them while they're walking through it.
Right.
What do you think the biggest rooms are in the house? Where do you guys put the most money into?
So there's obviously the big 3, right? Your primary bedroom and bath, your kitchen, your living room. But out here in Vegas, we're very, very focused on the backyard.
Yeah.
Right.
So we
People like to spend time back there.
We love it, yeah. And you have to have a pool, especially at this price point out here.
Oh, yeah. And this heat.
So what we try
One
to
of the
do,
biggest mistakes was recently not putting a pool
in a house.
pool in, because we didn't want to take the 5 months to put a pool in. That probably cost us $200,000-$300,000 on
we
that
probably
deal.
would have sold
In
it a
the
lot
sale
faster
price?
It
for
takes
more,
you
yeah.
5 months to put a pool in.
It would have been 5 months, which
Is
is
that slow or
fast.
fast?
I mean, in my Puerto Rico flip, it was fast. They were in and out in 3-4 weeks. with
Really?
the pool.
Whoa.
A whole pool.
Digging the hole, everything.
Wow.
They
Insane.
dug a hole and just filled it with water? What did they do?
Yeah, how do you
it
do
was
that?
such a I guess because it's so different, the infrastructure there. We use
way
cement for
different, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So, because hurricanes. So, it was like cement, like the bottom of the pool. It's not really like tiled out, but
Yeah.
it looks really minimalist and beautiful. Actually, I was shocked, but I couldn't believe. I was like 4 weeks in and out, water
that's
in,
wild.
done. And it
We would
looked
put
stunning.
pools in every single home if we could do them in 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks,
'Cause
right?
timing's most of it.
We can do them in 3 months now, which is pretty good. 3-4 months. The house takes that long pretty much anyway.
Yeah.
But like little things, back to your question, little
Yeah.
things we can do. If the house has a pool, we can landscape around it really nice, redo the decking, maybe do a little outdoor barbecue and a covered patio.
Right.
Covered patios
Nice.
are just a few grand, but it makes you feel like now I have an extra room in this house. I have an
Oh,
extra
yeah.
place to hang out
Right.
versus just sun-baked backyard with a pool. Dressing it up a little bit for a few grand makes them feel like that's their little backyard oasis.
Have you ever thought about doing a pizza oven?
Ooh.
Good
No, because
idea.
my friend owns this company, and he was like giving us these pizza ovens that are like $5,000.
They're really
What's the
like
name? Is
fancy,
it
cool.
Uni?
No, Gosney.
Okay.
Yeah, I
haven't
can
heard
set
that
you guys up if you want some pizza
Yeah,
ovens.
I
I
love
will.
it.
Yeah, just
Sounds
put it in
like-
your open
yeah.
houses.
Our West Hollywood project, it's small, but that's
Yeah.
the market there. I mean, it's a $2 million home. It's 1,000 square feet. Can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Biggest
And-
selling point, pizza oven.
Yeah,
No,
we have
literally.
this
First
backyard
photo.
with lights and a pizza oven
Yeah.
and a dining table.
Making it an
Cool.
experience.
I'm sold.
Making it an experience.
sold.
But
Yeah.
it's crazy because I connected him with a realtor, and the realtor came back to me and was like, "Oh my God, I just sold this house," and they were talking
you
about
tell me this.
the pizza oven, how they were obsessed with the pizza oven. But those are like the bigger ones that are built in and like cement and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But for you guys, for open houses, you can just stage it with a pizza
So
oven.
we're gonna use the
Sure.
same oven now and move it to all
Yeah.
of our properties and just like
But it
stage
gets
it up.
them thinking, like they start to imagine themselves
Yeah.
in the house, like cooking pizza. So it builds that experience like in their brain.
Do you hold your own open houses? Or
Yeah.
You do?
Yes.
No, I mean we will for some, but that's not
Some.
our ultimate goal.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
for
for now.
agents,
Right.
You don't
but
want to be doing
Right.
that?
But we are. But yeah.
right now with our current 2 in LA, we were like, okay, since we are, because we are like acquiring one a month, so a lot
Yeah.
less than you guys. But we were like, okay, let's do one a month, and then now the market, we're like, since we have our license, we're like, let's just hold these 2 open, you
Sure,
know,
okay.
like,
Yeah.
because we know we have a little bit extra time.
Well,
if
the
we're not
point
acquiring.
being, whether it's you or whether you have an agent maybe on your
Yeah.
team eventually, and that's their focus, and that's great. And I would suggest doing that. But do something. This pizza oven brought this
Right.
idea is do something so that when people come into the house, they're not allowed to just look and leave.
Right.
Right.
That's what I was
So
going to ask.
our
Like, do you
agents-
stage your properties?
Always,
Always,
always.
okay. We've
If
been
someone comes to
staging
me and
for
does not
years.
stage their property, they're an idiot.
Right.
I think
No.
so.
We've been
It's a
staging
necessity.
properties
Yeah.
for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And from even our entry level flips, like
Yeah.
our $250,000 flips stage, fully
Yep.
staged.
Yep.
Because we've measured over time. Definitely helps sell the homes faster. And our sales to list price ratio has been like 98%. So
well, what I always tell
selling
Kinsey
where we
is
want 'em.
people are really bad at imagining things. Like people cannot fathom, like even with our house in West Hollywood, we weren't going to do hedges. We were going to do these tiny little hedges that take time to grow. And I'm like, you know what? We're spending more money to do the biggest hedges possible because that equals privacy. People cannot imagine in 6 months from now or a year from now, these will grow. You have to just like stage it. They can't imagine like, what is my, you know, furniture going to look like in here? What's a pizza oven going to look like? You have to feed it to them. And then they obviously, it's already there. It's like cookies in front of you. You're like, okay, I'm going to have the cookie, you know? You're not going to go bake the cookie, but if it's in front of you, you're going to have it. It's the same thing with staging a house and like putting that extra effort and time into like the landscaping and everything that you were saying before. Give them that experience.
Yeah,
you know?
and it keeps them in there longer as well.
Right.
You know,
That's the point I was going to make.
The biggest component of selling a house is getting them to look and sit in it and imagine it being theirs
emotional
as
connection
long as possible.
Yes.
You walk into a vacant home, you look around, you say, wow, even if it's gorgeous, wow, this is gorgeous. Let's go look at the next one too.
Yeah.
But when it's staged and furnished and feels like a home, they stay there a little bit longer, gives them a little bit more time to think about it. They start envisioning their stuff in there. And I really think that helps sell the home.
And they're probably seeing so many houses too.
They
where
are,
it's like,
right? The agents that open house in our company, they are not afraid to like bring a Keurig or bring an espresso
100%.
and bring mugs so that somebody walks in, oh, the house is really nice. Maybe you're sitting on the couch like talking about something. Would you like a coffee? Oh, sure, I'll have a coffee. If I hand you a mug, you can't walk out of that house with my mug.
Oh, I love that.
So you're going to sit there and talk to me and drink this entire cup of coffee for the next 20
So you
minutes.
want us to be fully making pizza for them?
Yeah,
Is that
we're
what
gonna
you're
have
getting at?
Look, if you guys make some pizzas, you're going to sell a lot of
I'm
houses.
actually not joking, and we should do that.
Hand them an actual like plate, not a paper plate, so they can throw away. Hand them a plate with a piece of pizza on it. They have to eat that. They have to stay there now.
I love that. That's such a good. We could have the influencers there too.
I know, but that house is so Architectural Digest minimalist. I'm like, don't touch anything.
Yeah,
you know what? If it gets the house sold, we'll have a cleaner.
Eat the pizza outside, I guess.
Yeah, only
Keep those greasy fingers off the wall, please.
They're all about the experience, and I'm like, don't
touch anything. Not the lime wash walls.
Wow, that's so okay. So another question that is really relatable for us. I mean, so we really push to people finding a partner. You know, I think we always say we couldn't do it without each other because it sounds so fun, and everyone's really excited to get into flipping. And then there's always really hard days, and I think that's with anything in business. So for you guys, what has it been like as a partnership, and what's been one of your biggest like trials actually?
So I know the biggest trial like immediately when you say that, and it wasn't one thing; it was a sequence of things. Yeah. But it was super beneficial to have a partner going through that period of time.
Yeah.
It's when we bought on the east side of town in North Las Vegas.
Oh, man.
And so we started out buying average price point, entry-level homes, 3-bed, 2-bath, cookie-cutter houses. And you can find most of those, and easily you can find those in North Las Vegas or East Las Vegas, which are generally
rougher neighborhoods.
Slightly rougher neighborhoods and slightly rougher parts of town. And so that's where we started. That's where we like cut our teeth and started buying deals. And what we found was that during certain seasonal changes or what have you, there were a lot of squatter issues. They were breaking into the houses. They were staying there. They were locking themselves in there.
You can't get them out.
They're doing damage.
It was constant.
So
it was constant.
We put alarms in all of our houses to try and combat this issue. And I could just remember back having multiple nights a week, multiple times per night, 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m. We're having alarms go off. I have to get up and go to the house because I just put appliances in there. They might steal them, and that's $3,000 to me, $4,000 to me.
Right.
So having a partner to do that stuff with was super, super nice.
That was rough times because it was rough on everyone within the company too, because we were relying on small margin deals. These deals were making an average of 16 to 20,000. So if someone came in and ruined it or took the appliances, we're working for free. Months for free. So that was really tough.
How did you guys know you wanted to work together? Were you already good friends?
Well, they're cousins.
I realize that. Doesn't mean you're friends.
It was kind of a requirement. So our dads, being that they kind of ushered the way and showed us the way, they said, okay, if you guys want to do this, you have to do it together.
Right. So we weren't, we went away from high school to college for, however long that was away, and then reconvened after that. So we weren't best friends before we started working together. But of course, growing up and being family, the day we started working together, it was like, all right, this is it. Let's roll.
I see you every day now.
Right.
But do you guys, obviously, you have two different personalities, and when you're running a company and with two different visions, two different every day, have you guys had trials as far as you together as?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For sure.
Very different. We're very different people.
And how do you get through them? How do you get through them when they happen? happen?
There's a bunch of different ways. There's no right way, wrong way, I'll say, other than like blowing it up. Obviously, that's the wrong way. But whether it's, hey, like, let's get out of the office today and let's not be in this environment. Maybe we're stressed out. There's a lot on our plate. Like, let's get out and let's go have lunch or let's go have dinner or something outside to just break away. Sometimes it's, hey, look, I need to go have some my own space, my own time. Like maybe we've been together like for day in, day out for weeks or months, and I just need a little break.
Yeah.
And that happens too. There's no perfect solution to getting over those trials, but I think that having them and having two contradictory opinions on a deal, on hiring, on scale, whatever is going on in your business is so beneficial. To have, I'm sure you guys experience the same thing.
Who's a visionary? Who's an integrator? Do you know?
I would say she's more of like the long-term big visionary. Like she's like, I want 50 flips a year. I want this. And I'm more of like the numbers grounded, realistic. Like what can we actually do? What is our experience? Who's our network? Like that's me. And then
I vibe
she's
with that.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, okay, I understand, you know, when we first started, she's like, okay, one deal a month. And I'm like, because we look up to people that do like multiple deals, but I'm like, we're doing $1 million deals. We are 25 years old. We have not done a flip before. We need to be realistic about what, you know,
that's what our like, I don't care. Let's just do it.
Yeah,
like,
I figured out the wrong, but then coming together, she's like, I would never pull the, like, we wouldn't have pulled the trigger on so many opportunities if you didn't push me there. And I was like, I would have lost so many things from just thinking so big. I'm like, we got to be billionaires. Like, we got to go. What do you mean? We're not stopping.
So I think it's important to have both, to have like a visionary and to have like the logistical person.
I don't think it works the other way. If we were both visionaries, I don't think that works. So both integrators, you know, if we were both integrators, we would just paralyze ourselves by overanalyzing everything. And if we were both visionaries, we would go broke from making so many mistakes.
Oh my,
that is the secret sauce. I swear, to our partnership, that is the secret sauce. Yeah. Because people always ask us how it works, but that's how it works. Like you do need the visionary, and then you need the one that's like, okay, how are we going to actually get it done though? You know?
Yeah. That's sweet. Like, let's do
that's
this
really cute.
And a lot of people ask, a lot of
of
people ask us, like, do we separate tasks? And to be honest, we really don't separate a lot. Just recently, we went through a big coaching business solutions coaching platform where Gary Harper with Sharper Business Solutions, awesome referral,
really good.
Just the coolest program.
Cool. Okay.
And we did it with our entire company. But with Jesse and I, finally, after 6 years going through a coaching program that builds a little bit more foundational work to separate the personalities with the task that fits them the most, we've started separating a little bit of those tasks more and more to be more integrator, to be more visionary, go find talent, whatever it is. Up until that point, we really, you know, we analyze all the deals, we manage the team together. It's just worked out really well still.
And people change too. Like you might have separated tasks when you first started, and then you grow and you end up hating that task. And you want to do something else. Or you hire someone and neither of you are doing that task anymore. There's so much change into it. So I think constantly checking in to make sure you're doing what you enjoy, you're fulfilled in what you're doing, and making sure to change that so that you don't prolong any kind of harbored resentment or pain that you're not putting everything you could into your business. You want to always make sure that you have that open for yourself.
And when you guys started scaling and kind of adding more people to your team, what was the recruitment like? How did you find talent? And did you fire a lot, or was it just like you had a really strict process in order to onboard someone?
We've definitely gone through some people.
Okay.
I think it's inevitable. Yeah. And I didn't want it to be that way.
Yeah.
I want it ideal world. I just find the right person and they stay with me forever.
What was the cat lady's name?
That was our first hire, wasn't it?
She lasted.
Oh no, not the cat lady
or something. She
lasted. She's watching now.
She came in one day.
She lasted 2 days.
The second day, she said, "I have to go take my cat to the emergency room." And I said, "Okay, you're fired."
It was just.
I could never. If someone. Oh, I would.
She's also bad. Do you guys have good cop, bad cop?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're a bad cop.
I'm bad cop.
You're
bad
good.
cop.
So this is the
I'm the
opposite.
bad guy.
I'm visionary and good cop.
Yeah, I'm a bad cop.
She is the bad cop.
No, I will make sure. Oh yeah.
They're like, "What are you gonna do about it?" I'm like, "I'm gonna have Jessica speak with you."
No, the contractor tries to tell us, "I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there was a little bit of termite damage. It's gonna be an extra $30K. It's coming out of your pocket. We're not paying that. That's not in our contract. That's coming out of your pocket." And they're like,
"She's tough."
They're like scared of me half the time.
And like you're saying, you don't want to micromanage people. I'm trying my best to work on that micromanagement by delegating. But we ended up hiring a lot of people that were close to us in our sphere. Friends or acquaintances that saw what we were doing, really wanted to be a part of it. We knew them, we liked them, we trusted them. because we went through a couple that were strangers off Indeed or something like that, where we just pulled a resume, called them, and hired them. And when we started hiring people closer to us that saw what we were doing, these people are still around.
Right.
And we've been able to grow around them as well.
Yeah. And we've met some of them. Caleb, shout out to Caleb.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Also, your video guys and just like the
they all
welcoming
are.
atmosphere
Yeah.
and like it feels like a really good environment.
We need to make sure, and we've heard some of this today from the mastermind, but like we need to make sure that the culture exists,
right?
And it's perpetuated. So everyone's got to fit into that,
right?
You got to figure out if I can just sit here and talk with you, and it's nice and fun. I got to do that first before we start talking about whether you can do this job or not.
Because if they can do that with you guys, because I think this is what I'm noticing, even with Caleb, when I first was talking to him, he's just so approachable, just a nice guy that you can relate to and is easily communicative.
Yeah.
So if he can be that with you, then you can be that with other people. And that's really like what a good salesman is, what a good worker is, someone that can communicate with people, your vision.
And someone that enjoys going to work every day and
Yeah.
it not feeling like work. If it doesn't feel like work, people will push their limits all day long. If it's dreadful to come in every day, then it becomes a problem. And both sides are hurt by it.
You guys pay well as well, which is another thing I think is hard.
I was looking at our team.
I don't know with everyone, but I do know like that's the word around town is that you guys do
work
pay
your
well.
way up.
And that's something that for us, because we only have a couple people like on our team, editors and stuff like that, but we haven't gotten to the point where we're like paying well because we're like, we're looking at our costs and we're like, we don't want to pay too much. But then what I've kind of noticed from you guys, which is inspiring to me, is the talent is worth the money and they bring the money that you're paying them back to your business.
They should, because they're not a cost.
Right.
They're an investment
Right.
in your business. And the problem with how most people view that statement is you make the investment and you might not see the return
100%.
for a year or 2 years. We've been doing content pretty seriously for about 2 years.
Yeah,
and just this year, we start to see some good results from it. It took a lot of investment.
Good for you guys though for the consistency. That's awesome.
And that's the one thing everyone says is just don't quit.
Right.
Those that win are the ones that just don't quit.
And that's the vibe we try to build within the office is like, look, everyone within, when we win, you win. If we're not winning yet, we're going to start smaller. This is a startup for all of us.
Right.
You know? But I guarantee you, when we start making money, you're going to start making money, and we're going to make everyone happy and take everyone with us along the way.
Do you do any group activities or anything with your team to kind of spark and like fuel the fire in everyone?
Yeah, we love going out golfing.
Oh,
So
Top
Nice.
Golf.
Yeah, Top Golf.
I
We
love
hit
Top
a lot.
Golf. We
We
need to
took
do
our
that too.
brokerage indoor rock climbing.
So
fun
fun.
stuff. Yeah.
We do a lot of barbecues here.
Yeah.
You know, we do as much
At
as we can.
someone's
We
house?
like to have
No,
fun.
we have a barbecue grill in the office.
We put it on the balcony.
So cool. I want to
Yeah.
see it. Wow. I
Yeah.
love that.
So we just barbecue on the deck.
How many employees do you guys have now?
I think we have close to 40 agents, but those aren't technically employees.
Right.
It's a brokerage with just agents. I think
Still, congrats.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I think actual employees, I think we're up to like 5.
Okay.
Right,
So
not a
what do you
lot,
think is like, so you guys do such a crazy amount of volume and right now we're working on the scalability, you know, we can only do so much. So what do you think would be like the best person you suggest we hire? Obviously we have our content people, but on the real estate side.
Well, what's your team look like now?
So we have a project manager, we have our editor, our video, but we don't.
And a
then-
contractor.
and
But
contractor.
it's not
and then
really
us,
our team.
You know?
Do you have anyone who can just do anything for you at any time?
Yeah, no.
That's the first person.
That's
Okay.
us.
You need that
Right.
person yesterday.
It's
Kind of
all
just
the
an executive
small-
assistant that's
Right.
every small task.
And make sure that they're more capable than just like, hey, book my flights for next
Right.
week.
Yeah.
Right.
But they'll do that, but also handle all paperwork. Handle
All escrows, all
escrows.
incoming and
Yeah.
outgoing vendor
I know,
checks,
our books
all
right now.
accounts.
Yes.
I know.
all your
Right.
utilities, all that stuff. Handle all that stuff with an hourly waged employee, somebody
Okay.
else.
Yeah, and don't throw it all on them up front.
Right.
Yeah.
Build them up,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you're going to overwhelm them. But Haley, who was a friend of mine since middle school, was our first employee, started with us just after Cat Lady Janet in 2017.
You said her name.
And Janet.
I just gave her a name. I don't know if that's her name.
I mean, she's still with us, and she's built.
Cat
she's-
lady?
No,
No,
yeah.
okay,
Haley,
okay.
my friend, not Kelly.
Okay.
We started her just on escrows, right? Just transactional escrow paperwork, and then built her up to more of an admin role for us and everything we do. Now she's running the books with the CPA and the bookkeepers. She's doing all vendor checks. She really controls all the ins and outs of all of our companies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's the rock
She's
of
the boss.
our lives.
She's
right.
She's the office controller. Like there is no money spent or is no money received that doesn't go through her hands.
Right.
Nice. And to be able to have someone like that you trust is just everything.
Right.
Have you done the free intern program that Ryan was talking about?
Oh, but I love it.
I know.
Right?
Well, we
We've
have a
thought
lot of
about
people. Make sure you get the same on social media. We get a lot of girls that are like, I want to intern. I want to learn from you. And
Well, for
I've
those
always
who don't
been
know
held
what we're
back.
talking
Right.
about, that Ryan Pineda at his conference was talking about how they implemented an internship program where for 60 days, right?
60 to 90 days.
60
something
to
like that.
90 days, the intern does not get paid. They just look at the sale volume that this person is doing, and then based off that, they see if they want to hire them. So that person gets experience and free training because they get training, right? When you do an internship.
Yeah, I mean, you're really trying to forge that relationship and put them in the position of a long-term employee.
Right.
You know, that's just really a test period or a probation period.
They
Is a
want
90-day
retention.
internship.
They want them to stay.
And for someone that's going to do a free internship, like you already know they're kind of like doing the shit because
They're down for whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
thinking
down
for
for
like
it.
our sales team and content team for the boot camp is like the perfect internship opportunity.
Right.
Yeah, I've just always, what do I have them do? Like,
Right.
I know that there is stuff to do.
I know,
But it's just so
You're
like
right.
every day, last minute, like.
And
spur of
it's
the moment.
hard to like train that person too, because I'm like the effort and time it goes into training someone to have like so many people, unless something is like pre-recorded, but to like go through the training process with each person to do the internship, that's always like,
I know.
It takes a lot of time.
I know.
Unless you
And
just
effort.
have layers, like Ryan has just done an incredible job at layering, where he has appropriate COOs of every
course.
company, and that COO
Who
has
does
somebody
that?
like Ryan's not training anybody, so
No.
they
Right.
have somebody who's somebody who's somebody,
Yeah.
which is so awesome. And
Yes.
obviously, we all probably look up to that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, scaling to that level.
Delegate to elevate.
He's the epitome of not micromanaging and letting people do their roles to the
Yeah.
highest level. And that's what holds a lot of companies back. I think even us, before 2019, when we joined Future Flipper and started getting coached by someone like Ryan on how to hire, we did all the construction ourselves. We didn't want to give it up. We did it for way too long. As soon as we hired our project manager into position, we went from 10 to 12 homes at a time to 25 to 27 homes at a time.
Oh, so you have a contractor and a project manager.
we have a project
we have
manager.
like 4 or 5 general contractors.
Right.
They
that
don't
the
work
project
for us.
manager
Right.
stands in between us and them.
Oh.
And so, yes, he does a lot of
Right.
calling us for approval and back and forth. But at least when it's showing up on the job, making sure that they're visited or things that arise, you have to run out and check on. Like he's that in the field all the time manager. And anything that is needed, he comes to us, he gets an answer, goes and puts it back into play. I would say that's probably our biggest time saver as a hire is a project manager that's very, very capable.
Very
And
capable.
helps you stay where you're most productive.
You guys have been seriously so incredible. We're going to see you the next few days, which is really, really exciting. And for anybody in our audience, you know, you can check them out on their social medias. They're really, really active. I've really enjoyed following them because I just learned so much. They really know what they're doing. You see the volume that they're doing in the high-end volume. They now have their own boot camp. We were there yesterday, and they have a die-hard audience. And they all, their feedback they gave us, we were asking how their boot camp was. Everybody's feedback was like
Really
really
good.
excited. They said, you guys are incredible. So if you guys are interested in that, check them out. These are the Boeckle Brothers. They're incredible guys. And
Where
great
would you
coaches.
tell people to follow you guys? Where
So
would
they
you direct
can
them?
go anywhere: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Those are our big 3. All our handles are the Boeckle Brothers.
Got it.
Boeckle. Check it out right here.
And you also do coaching with the boot camp.
We also do
coaching.
coaching. So we just launched the Boeckle Brothers Bootcamp, which is
Right.
a 90-day crash course in flipping homes, buying properties off the MLS with no marketing dollars, project management, scaling a business, everything you need to know from start to finish for flipping
Nice.
houses.
You guys, it is worth like investing into something like that. If you
Right.
guys are just starting out, it is so worth it. But I'll let you continue.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much.
course.
Make sure you guys will leave a link below for any way that you can contact them, and then make sure you guys like, subscribe. Let us know who you guys want to see. We've had some amazing guests, and we're really excited about the podcast continuing. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.